It's a wonderful town. You know, I love it. I love this place. We've got great character. We've got great people.
The quiet little city of Frederick, Maryland is perhaps best known as the final resting place of Francis Scott Key, author of the Star-Spangled Banner. And while this little city no longer has to worry about bombs bursting in air, Frederick is now a battleground of a different sort.
We got to the point where we realized we had to do something.
Something about a drug problem taking over the city, synthetic marijuana. It's a designer drug where nail polish remover mixed with chemicals is sprayed on dried herbs, sold and smoked to get a high, similar to that of actual marijuana, with sometimes serious side effects.
You're smoking chemicals. You're smoking something that is laced with, you don't even know what. You might as well just be smoking lighter fluid.
What started off as just a community nuisance quickly turned into a public health emergency.
We started noticing it more with some reports from the Frederick Memorial Hospital, and we were realizing something was happening in our town as well.
The U.S. as a whole put a ban on 26 types of synthetic drugs in 2012. But the chemical makeup can be so easily manipulated that drug makers quickly found ways to skirt the law.
We had to figure out how to ban it and what was banned and every combination, and it wasn't that easy.
Frederick came up with a stricter law of its own last year, banning any synthetic substances that mimic the effects of drugs that are illegal under federal law. Yet just a short drive up the road where towns don't have laws of their own, the product still stocks store shelves.
So I wanted to find out for myself how easy it really is to get your hands on these synthetic cannabinoids. So I went right outside of Frederick city limits, still within the county of Frederick, but in the city of Jefferson. And sure enough, right off the highway is this BP gas station where I was able to get my hands on this bag. This is a 4-gram bag that cost me about $32.
It's just as easily accessible in much of the U.S. and is sometimes wrongly described as a marijuana alternative. In order to truly understand the complexity of it, we need a quick chemistry lesson.
It looks like marijuana in that they are both kind of a green-brown plant material, but to a forensic chemist, these look very different.
And it all comes down to science. Now, in the beginning, there were only a few classes of the chemical, most notably the JWH series, named after the scientist who discovered it, John W. Huffman. Its formula is C24H23NO. But let's just say that I add an extra oxygen molecule over here, and I made all of these nitrogen. Well, then I have a whole new chemical. Or what happens if I took a couple of those nitrogen molecules away? Again, I've created an entirely new drug. This is how many of those drugs are actually slipping past regulations. Drug dealers have come up with over 200 compounds and counting, and it's tough for authorities to identify them.
With, you know, like heroin and cocaine and stuff, we have these little kits that you can drop something in that changes the color. We had no kit like that, so how do we say this is illegal? We have no way of testing to make sure it was illegal.
So by the time a lab has the results, the drug dealers have already come up with a new chemical structure. More and more local governments are trying to make laws that are not only stricter than the federal law, but more enforceable. So far, 43 states have taken it on. The state of Maryland will join that list October 1st. It's a daunting hurdle facing the Drug Enforcement Agency.
This is the new frontier of drugs and drug trafficking and drug abuse. We weren't dealing with this 5 years ago.
Over the past 2 years, the DEA has conducted 2 major operations. Operation Logjam resulted in 90 arrests, 4.8 million packets seized, and material to create another 13.6 million packages. They are making progress, but this public health emergency doesn't only rest on the DEA's shoulders.
This is like any drug issue in the United States. We're never going to arrest or enforce our way out of drug problems. What we need are for parents to be better. We need kids to be better.
In Washington, Meghan Lopez, RT.